Hello and welcome to the Zach Ratliff Show. I'm Zach.
I'm
This,
Steve,
I'm Adam.
and we have an audience.
Oh yeah, we have an
Unnamed?
audience. My daughter's over here
yeah,
running the camera.
there you go. Well, all right, everybody. Well, first of all, let's start with thanking our sponsors. That's Mortgage Financial here in Texarkana. That's Elmwood Custom Goods and Church on the Rock, Texarkana. That's churchontherock.org.
Church on the Rock. We'll love the hell out of you.
There we go.
Wait,
Hey,
I have to look at a different place now.
yeah, it is weird. So
Church on the Rock.
we're
We'll
trying
love the
we're
hell
trying
out of
out a
you.
new camera for. Look, I understand a lot of you listen, and so when I do stuff, some of you will text me.
Not him.
Yeah, and some of you will text me and say, "Hey, I didn't see what you were talking about or whatever." It's because this is on video for those of you that just listen in your car or on Spotify or whatever. So
The next
th-
step is we'll be able to share screens on there, so we have a visual. We can pop it
we
up.
you can do that with the software, but
Can we?
I'm just we're
We
just
figured that.
One step at a time.
anyway. So
Keep it later.
that's what we've got going. Hey, I do want to mention on October 2nd at Church on the Rock, starting at 5:30 that evening, there's going to be a forum on the 17 proposed constitutional amendments for Texas.
Wouldn't that be a 17 of them?
A what?
A
A 17 of
17
them? I don't know. Not a forum?
Well, people up there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
there
it,
will be
okay.
four
I got
people.
it.
Yeah. It's going to be hosted by John Miller, and then it will be, there's going to be some experts there. And if you need if you
you
want to
need
be
kids,
involved, if you need kids, probably don't make them there. But if you want to be involved,
man, we're downhill so fast.
yeah, if you want to be involved, it's going to be a good place to see. There's be food available for purchase.
Food trucks outside.
I don't think we're doing food trucks outside. I think they're doing it in the kitchen at the
Oh,
church.
well, food. And then free child care if you RSVP.
That's right.
Adam, what does RSVP stand for?
S'il vous plaît.
Répondez, s'il vous
It,
plaît.
it- it's,
Yeah.
I think it's French.
Yeah,
Yeah.
means respond if you please.
All right. So anyway, let's just kind of get into it. Let me knock out some. We're going to talk about. We had someone at the Patriots.
Two people
Two
spoke
people at the
last night.
Patriots. Yeah. And that was good. And they talked about convention of states. We'll get into that. Let me knock out a couple of these articles I want to talk about first, and then we'll kind of get into the.
Well, you're acting like you're asking for permission.
I know it's like my name's on it, which you can actually see the sign much
You
better now
can.
with the camera. Yeah.
Who made that?
That's Elmwood Custom Goods made that, and they do cabinets and actually, well before I was ever into podcasting, I ordered a cheese and wine giant cutting board to make like charcuterie boards and stuff like that for my wife, and I have one that's probably as big as half this desk that they made for me and sent it to me. They make some awesome stuff up there. So, all right, let's start with this. From the
Elmwood was the name of the guy in the Blues Brothers, right?
it was, yeah.
Mm.
Now he's got custom goods.
I thought of that movie the other day.
Yeah, that's a good movie. So let's start with the New York Times and how they have completely undermined U.S. security and um, whatnot. They published an article on the NewYorkTimes.com detailing a 2019 Navy SEAL operation into North Korea, and then they gave the details of us planting listening devices and 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 you can go read the story. And look, from the tactical standpoint and what we're capable of standpoint, it's a cool story. However, when we're doing this to keep peace around the world, this is
National
obviously
security. It
it's
sounds
obviously a national security risk. And there's only one reason that they would do this. And it's because they hate our country and want to see our president fail. And when everything else he's doing is working and it's better for all of us, they have to start doing these. But also, this means there's some bastard in the Pentagon that is still leaking
Yeah.
to the. No, no. Here's the deal. That's from 2019. They may have sat on this from the time they got it for the last 5 years,
Yeah.
waiting in case they needed it, and that's what I would guess. Not that there isn't still some bit of leaks coming out of our current administration, but they've trying to get control of it. Fired many people. They're running lie detectors and all the things. So I would guess that New York Times has sat on this since 2019, and now is going to try to disturb world peace through it.
Remember the time that Joe Biden was giving a speech and poured something? I don't remember the details, but he poured out some kind of military intel in the middle of a speech to the world.
Yeah. I, they
He
well,
thinks it's okay. I mean, Hillary Clinton had an unsecured server in her house when she was Secretary of State. So all these emails, and they know that it was hacked.
right.
They know it was hacked,
And
and
don't
so
worry.
they've been giving away these secrets forever.
Yeah. Well, and don't worry because in Animal Farm, all animals are equal, but
Until
the pigs get to sleep in the house, and Napoleon, he will kill you if you go against him. So, not that that matters here, but it just seems to be the case. All right, and here's the deal: the labor report came in a little bit weaker. The jobs report. It's another reason. This is from CNBC.com. What they just talked about: the stocks are rising because now it looks like look, there's no reason for Jerome Powell not to cut interest rates coming up. That being said, I'm still not sold that he's going to do it. I've been saying for the last year or more that Jerome Powell hates Donald Trump, and the only reason he cut him this time last year was to try to get Kamala elected. And but I don't know. No one invites me to the meetings. Um,
The Federal Reserve, the whole point of the Federal Reserve is to siphon money out of this country. If you
yeah,
look and see that in 1913, a $20 gold piece, it's an ounce of gold, double eagle, $20, was worth a $20 bill.
Mhm.
If I said to you, "Hey, you got a double eagle? It's my daughter's birthday. I want to give her something nice," and you would happily trade me a $20 bill for a gold eagle, a
Yeah,
double eagle, because you knew you could get another one, just swap. And nowadays, what is device do I have
ounce of
on?
gold's 3,300, 3,200.
Well, let's look. But it's a lot. 3,500 right now.
Okay.
So it would take 1,750 of those my $20 bills to get a $20 gold piece right now. For that
Now,
same ounce of gold. And
here's what's
so
amazing
that's
about
how
that.
much of our wealth they have siphoned out of this country through inflation. People go, "Oh, inflation is a rising tide that lifts all boats."
No.
No, that's when things go well in the economy. Inflation is just when there's more, they print more money and put it into the system.
Well, here's what's amazing about that. Back in before I left the radio station, so I left there in April, so it would have been March. I went over to the local gold purveyor on
Yeah.
on Richmond Road and was pricing ounces of gold, dreaming, and it was 2,900. But if you bought it through um,
broker.
a broker, is about $3,000. So for that base price now to be at 3,500, that's going to put you at what 3,700, 3,800 to buy it. So it it's changing drastically. However, in 1920, you could build a house for one gold bar, a normal sized American house. And today, you can build a
Mhm.
house for one gold bar. So there's that.
So here's the thing on that. I know someone who bought a house. We talked about this before.
Yeah,
Bought
on
a
here.
house for 10,000 silver dollars. That was the contract. I will pay you 10,000 silver dollars for this house,
Right.
and that's what he delivered. And then he sold the house 25 years later for 10,000 silver dollars. The 10,000 silver dollars were at that point worth $175,000.
Right.
So if he could legitimately claim, I bought it for $10,000, I sold it for $10,000, I didn't make any money.
Right.
So does he pay any capital gains?
Shouldn't.
No. So if he says I bought it for 10,000, sold it for 175, it's $165,000. And what's 28% of that? Do the math real fast, engineer.
Well,
It's a
115.
lot. It's about $30,000. Is that right? No, $45,000. That's just off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So you think about the capital gains tax, even if it's 10%, okay? So that's $16,500.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just demonstrated that using gold, precious metals, which they don't go up in value, what they're compared to goes down in value.
Puts us
Okay,
at $40,000 for 28.
does it? Okay, and I don't know if it's 28%, but I think that's correct. So I think that's the minimum. Anyway, so if you did it for if you bought it for 10,000 silver dollars, sold it for 10,000 silver dollars, obviously your wealth did not increase, did it?
I'm sorry,
Okay.
46,716.
So your wealth did not increase if you bought it and sold it for the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But if you had all this money, you're congratulating yourself. Yeah, that's what
Right.
I
Yeah.
could
Yeah.
tell this is going to be an area that I could tell. And you're congratulating yourself. The government just took $46,000, you said, out of your 165,000.
Right.
and you're still proud of yourself. Well, I look here, I still come out ahead. Look how much money I made. I had a feeling. I had a feeling this area. I
But it's
was
just the
paying
man
attention. You're
holding you down.
congratulating yourself. The government just took 28% of your wealth.
Right.
Basically, like you had this house. If you hadn't sold the house and they came and took 28% of it, you wouldn't be happy.
Right.
So you actually lost money in the process, and that money goes to the federal government, which goes to the Federal Reserve, which goes to the fat cats, Rothschilds, and
The
whoever
fat
that own
cats.
that.
I hadn't
Yeah,
heard that. I like it.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
The fat cat elites,
Yeah.
the
And I
people,
just
the people who
want to
want us
say,
to eat bugs.
you're talking about Jerome Powell. That's how we got on this.
Yeah.
Go right back to the first thing you started with. There are people out there in this government and
Yeah.
in this military that are thinking, how can I undermine the United States of America
Yeah.
and people's
Absolutely.
individual liberty?
Well, you know what? I had a different article pulled up, but let me go to this. That being said, so this is from C3, not C3PO, just C3 on X.com. A judge named Amir Ali, born to Egyptian Canadian parents in Ontario, Canada, just overruled the duly elected president of the United States on foreign aid paid by American taxpayers. So our judiciary, he's an American judge, a federal U.S. judge. He, whatever they're doing to stop, whatever these things are they're doing to stop, my mind's just not processing, to stop these presidential orders. Are we to a place where we should say, hey, if you're going to be a judge here, you need to be born here?
And if you're going to be a judge at the federal level, you should have some previous judiciary experience.
What? You can do
So
that without some?
these guys, there's like a 10, I think. I saw this just recently. 10 of them that were appointed by either Obama or Biden. I think most of them by Biden. They are foreign born,
Yep.
and they had no previous judicial experience when they were appointed.
Just yes. What was it earlier this week? It was a lady who, look, she hadn't even been a citizen 5 years, and is now a federal judge that was appointed by Biden. Oh, yeah, maybe she hadn't been a judge 5
What's
years.
the
So she wasn't.
chance she's not really on our side?
Yeah,
I mean, we have so many people that are born here to parents that were born here, whose grandparents were born here, who aren't on our side.
right. Yeah, we've got enough
We don't
homegrown
need
people
to
that hate us.
import them, but we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Then did you see what? And I guess it's just all an erosion of our rights. Okay, this is where I want to get at. Am I close enough?
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. By the way, we're testing. Like I said, we're testing video and audio, just trying to figure all this out to, a better experience for the listener and the viewer.
Our camera operator over there has been
Yeah, she hadn't even paying attention.
extremely. No, I thought she'd been extremely vigilant. I mean,
She's a robot.
Okay.
she brought her own device so she could entertain herself. But no, her eyes are glued to that video screen.
There you go.
Yeah,
That's what-
I
that's what-
don't think an adult would do any better.
Man, perfect. Okay, so Tim Kaine, do you know who he is? Yeah, senator. He's a senator now.
Yeah.
Was vice presidential running mate for somebody, or maybe he ran for president. in the
Yeah.
primary.
He made a bunch of noise a few years back.
Yeah, that's what it was. Anyway, this is from Matt Walsh on X.com. Tim Kaine comes out in Senate hearing yesterday and says that the declaration, he says the thought that our rights come from a creator
Yeah.
is crazy. He said that our rights come from the government. This is why we were formed. This is the gradual slope and slip to despotism that is being pushed on. We leave God, we leave prayer, we leave our Constitution, all because we want to feel better. Oh, we'll tell you what you want to hear. We'll tell you, hey, I feel like I'm a dog today, so you go be a dog and you can wear your collar and you can walk around and bark at people, and that's fine. You can do all that as long as you vote for me and give me absolute power. And now there are people inside our government that say, hey, we've got enough power that your rights don't come from God because remember, you don't think there is a God.
But yeah,
But I do.
and that is what they're doing. But the way I've always explained it, if I've got like a mixed crowd, their rights come from our Creator. Or if that's not your thing, our rights are inherent in our existence.
Yeah.
That we are born, and you can see this in the world that animals try to accumulate food.
I thought you said animals.
Animals.
Those are weird.
Oh, no, animals.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what an animal is now.
Well, I think we're looking at one.
You're just being vocabularic.
Yeah, where he lives is an edible house.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
what
yeah.
he had for supper last night was edible crackers. Stop it.
Yeah.
Where were we? Oh, animals. You see animals defending themselves.
Right.
You see animals providing for their young. You see animals building shelter.
Defending themselves.
Defending themselves.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you see them. I think I said that. Didn't I?
I don't know.
I
But we
meant
just
to.
said no.
So yeah, they build homes. They accumulate food. They store food for themselves.
Right.
They defend themselves. So obviously, animals understand property rights.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't buy this tree, but I did build this nest. I didn't. I went out and gathered this food, and I'm storing it. You know, for future use.
Well,
That's property. So
y-
animals understand
you
this.
know, there's a good point to that with deer season upon us.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm in the woods a lot, and a buck will make a scrape line, right? And then when he clears the dirt, and then the does come through, and they pee in it, and he smells it, and he sees, you know, where we are in season,
Ew.
yeah, and all the things. However, if another buck comes in, he will also check that scrape, and in the event that they meet, there is a fight which will ensue because they have borders, just like you said.
hmm
And so you're right; it's very just natural to I'm here and you're there. This is
Yeah.
mine and
So
this is
by
yours.
reason of existence, you have the right to live. You have the right to uh, make sure you can live by shelter and food and self defense. It's obvious that we have these rights,
Well,
and
there's a
so to try to
document.
come back and say, "Oh no, government gives you these rights."
No,
No, that would be a feudal system with a D in it, a feudal system like we had in England, where they owned the fat cats owned all the land, and if you lived there, if you wanted to live, if you wanted to have a house somewhere, you had to put a house up or rent a house, whatever. But it's all rented from them. You owe them part of your livelihood, whether you're making shoes or
right.
making bread or farming. You owe them part of your livelihood
It's
because they really own everything, and that's what this is all trying to go back to. And
well,
that's why this country was so offensive to people in Europe. What do you mean that that some unwashed peasant can own land? That's what that flies in the face of God Himself. You know, they got incensed about it, and they've been trying ever since this country started to take over. They tried to start a central bank in the early 1800s. They
hmm
got it done in 1913.
well, it's like
They did more than one.
yeah,
Hmm?
They did more than one.
More than one what?
Central bank.
central bank.
What do you mean?
You had like a national bank, and then you had the second national bank or something like that.
Well, yeah, but they were all tied into the Federal Reserve
Right.
System. Yeah.
So they I've got a couple trains of thought on this. This goes back to our property tax conversation. Property tax is very much what you just described
It is.
of the feudal system. You're paying your lords to be able to stay on your land, not Lord Jesus Christ, but the lords of
The
your
fat cats.
nation. Yeah, the fat cats. But it's as if Thomas Jefferson and as Bill and Ted said it, a few old dead
Excellent.
dudes um, came up with a document that said, "Hey, we have the right to
hmm
life, liberty," and it was gonna say property,
Yeah.
but they changed it to the pursuit of happiness.
Yeah. Life, liberty, and property.
If
And
only
here's
our
the thing
nation
about
was,
those old dead dudes.
yeah,
At
tell
the
me about
time
it.
they did all this stuff,
They weren't dead.
they were alive.
Yeah, and they
Just
weren't
like
old.
you. Just like you. You, watcher, listener.
They also had just come out of well, they were still in a conflict for that freedom
Yeah,
to have property.
Yeah.
Today, we seem to have lost what it means to have that privilege, have that right. So we don't fight for it.
so let's go on to this. This is I hate to even. You can just find this. You'll just have to look it up. Oh, okay. It's you can find it under Nick Sorter on X.com, and it's playing a Fox News clip of Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi revealed that the Biden regime, talking about people that don't like our country, that are working against us, that the Biden regime allowed the transfer of over $7 million for trafficking of children into the U.S. to just one smuggler.
That's all.
Not that they give, but that they allowed that money to go to them because any electronic transfers Well, golly, my mind goes blank. We have the SWIFT number, and
Mhm.
the U.S. runs SWIFT numbers around the world. So that's how the banking system works through the Federal Reserve. Is if you wire money from one place to another, it goes through the SWIFT
Mhm.
function, and you have to have a SWIFT number. And so they can monitor all transactions. Now, whether they should or not, that's a whole different thing. But they can monitor all transactions that goes through the SWIFT system. Now, counter to that is where you get into your BRICS system, which they want to go away from SWIFT, which is um, Russia, Mexico, China,
Brazil.
Brazil, India. Um, and that's what they're trying to do so that we can't monitor and control all transit. So when we say we're going to, as a government, we are going to sanction someone, it's because we control the flow of money to the entire world.
Mhm.
Everything comes through the US. So that's one thing we have to realize. Anyway, so through that system, we saw that this smuggler made $40,000 per victim and profited $18 million. That's wild, and I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that because that's a crazy thing, so then we're allowing human traffickers, we've got foreign adversaries basically acting as judges, stopping our agenda. We've got the New York Times coming out, publishing an actual
Military secrets. Yeah.
military secrets that actually happened on and really on one of the most elite forces in the world. Now, I mean, if you listen to it, there are ones above that, but far more elite than anybody I've ever talked to, that I know of, and it's amazing. Yeah, we want to fight about if you can use the correct bathroom or what you want to call yourself. Everything's a distraction to the dismantling of our country.
Yeah.
A distraction from the dismantling
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
our
Yeah.
country.
And
that's
it
correct.
it is, and we got these sex traffic victims that have come forward, Epstein victims, that said, we know who we saw.
Right.
We're gonna put it all together in a list. Or I think they already have.
One of them did a press conference yesterday or the day
Yeah,
before.
day before, I think. Marjorie Taylor Greene said, "Give me the list. I will read it on the floor of Congress." So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, so
But there's something that just came out that said, if they do release a list, because there wasn't a list, we were told that, but if they do release a list, they're going to redact all the names of Republicans. Which, I mean, some of this stuff the optics on it are insanely stupid. That's one of them. Trump coming out saying, "I will release the list. There's no doubt I will do it." Him doing that and then saying, "Oh, there's no list."
so you and I
It's
think,
either it has to be something that they're doing. It has to be some kind of plan.
yeah,
But so what you have right now is the left going insane, calling Trump a pedophile.
right.
All this stuff. If you release it and go to jail, they know he's on there. They're going to release it.
But if he was on there, they would have published that in the back
I really
page.
think they would have.
Yeah.
They would have published it before he ever got
And
elected.
a bunch of people have already, even that aren't Trump fans, have come out that they're like, "Hey, we even Ghislaine Maxwell came out. She goes, "Hey, he's not,
Yeah.
he's not an issue."
Of course, some of these people, maybe they're lying, but release the
Well,
list.
yeah.
Release the
Well,
list. I don't care who's on it.
so I think we want the same goal. I don't know that we have so I'm okay with what they're doing right now.
Personally, I think it's a psyop on their side
Yeah.
that they're just trying to see how many liberals they can make this clamor.
And
Release the
call for it,
list.
so that
Yeah.
when it comes out, now there are going to be some Republicans on there because you can look in their face and see some of them are evil. You can see through the camera. You can feel evil emanate through the camera and say, "Hey, these people are evil." Um, that being said, and if you missed the conversation on good and evil, check out the episode I did with Paul Yodell yesterday. It's pretty good. But
Was it good?
yeah, said it was good. It was
In
good.
fact,
Yeah,
we were talking about how I did something and got in the car and heard somebody talking about something yesterday.
yeah.
Well, when I got back in the car after leaving here,
Uh-huh.
after we did our thing there, um, something came up that y'all talked about in that one.
Oh, really? Isn't that crazy? Yeah, it's funny how that works.
I hear it's a good show.
Yeah, it is. You should listen sometime. No need to. And so,
I've got this streak going.
yeah, but you know, we know there's going to be Republicans on that list. We know there's going to be Democrats. But there's either I think it's being used for leverage. Hey, we need this stuff to pass. You can come out and kick dirt and stomp and throw rocks in the media all you want. as long as you support what we need to support when it happens. And because
And we see that so much.
what
Trey Gowdy,
oh, I can't stand that guy. And what
he
happened
would
to his
posture in
face?
front of Congress so much, and then it came time to vote, he'd vote just like he's supposed to.
Yeah,
Or he'd talk about other stuff and nothing would ever happen.
I don't watch
He
much
raked
Fox News.
he raked Hillary over the coals during the Benghazi thing, and what came of it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No. Well, yeah, I don't watch Fox News a lot. I watch the Jesse Waters show and Greg Gutfeld at night. Other than that, I watch The Blaze. But if I happen to have it on and Trey Gowdy comes on, I change the channel. Like I just can't stand him. Could be a good guy. I don't know, and I don't care to know, honestly. So
Well,
if you're watching Trey,
he might
good
be a
luck to
great
you.
guy, but apparently there's a lot of people we consider great guys that aren't really on our side. And that's something
It's hard to
this
wrestle
came
with
up what 2 weeks ago, and I was that we elect people and they can be our friends, but we're going to watch them because they work for us.
that. We talked
Um,
about that on here. How you look someone dead in the eye and said, "We're not friends with politicians." It was all three of us on the last show we all did together, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It was last Wednesday, the Wednesday before.
Yeah.
And I can think of two specific politicians right now that I really enjoy hanging out with. One of them, we did have a charcuterie board the size of this desk.
What's our time?
We're on 26.
Should we stop talking?
No.
Okay.
I just can't see it, and I'm just anal.
Um, this politician and I were both at the same event, and we already knew each other, and we both got there like really early, like
Uh,
an hour early, and there was a charcuterie board the size. I mean, it was a 6-foot folding table. Is what it was.
Elmwood Custom Goods make it?
It was a 6-foot folding table.
Oh,
But they could have.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably would have been better.
This is out in West Fort Worth, and we sat and we ate together and talked for 30 minutes. He's a state level politician,
Right.
and I like him. I don't trust him.
Right.
I've met some politicians in Louisiana, state level politicians that I love hanging out with.
Yeah.
Just the stories, all this kind of stuff. But I
Do
don't
you,
trust
do you
them.
know of anybody here in Bowie County that are really fun to hang out with, but you don't trust them?
Um,
Fun
mean,
to hang out
We
with?
don't want to call any names, but
I don't know if they're fun to hang out with.
I
my point is there's got to be somebody.
I'm sure.
It happens.
Yeah. Well, no,
So-
you know what? My friend list is, I've got a lot of pretty good friends. I mean, really good people.
One day we'll
You
make-
tend to trust friends.
Huh?
You tend to trust friends.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And so,
Unless it's
but,
that group text message, and you better never get a hold of that, baby. We're all going.
but our elected officials, they sound good. And if you think the other side sounds bad and your side sounds good, and yay, I have the moral high ground, well, you're not paying attention.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. You can't. I mean, what was the thing we said about Trump? One of my buddies used to say this. I like Trump. I like the fact that all the right people hate him. I think he's got some great ideas, but man, I wish he would read the Constitution. So you can, and I'm not a Trumpophile. I don't think he's the best thing in the world. One of the things I like is that all the right people hate him.
Right.
And it makes me think he's on the right path. But then I see who he surrounds himself with.
and we question things.
And yeah, you have to question things.
Well,
So I mean, I was telling a friend they saw a Trump hat in my house, a
Yeah.
really nice Trump hat, and I said, I did not buy that.
Right.
Somebody gave it to me.
I still
And
got the Trump sign in my yard. I'm still proud that I voted for him, and I'm proud for the direction of the country, even with the subterfuge against it.
yeah,
It's-
but
it's-
I remember gas being $1.55, $1.56 a gallon, first
That's-
time.
Yeah, he'll get back.
And I think about that often, but then I realize, yeah, but the Federal Reserve has instituted inflation, and so
Sure.
hey,
Well, gas
if you
has
do the
been
math-
immune to inflation. It is.
exactly.
Paid $2.35 this morning.
If you do the math,
I know where you went.
$2.35 this morning may be 75 cents from 1998.
Right.
No, not these days.
Well,
But you get my point.
yeah, but you can't. Gas is not a good measure.
It's not.
We
but
had somebody speak years ago that said brown eggs. If you don't want to use silver and gold, use brown eggs because you can't. The only way to make more brown eggs is to have more chickens,
Brown.
and they have. I don't
It's like chocolate milk and cows.
chocolate milk and brown cows.
Yeah.
It might be, but it's been a good measure of inflation. So how much are brown eggs? And they fluctuate a little bit, but I mean, how much were brown eggs a dozen 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
Well, here's something you said that I want to hit on. We're gonna kind of tie this back into locally, and then we're gonna get to the convention of the states that was talked about yesterday. And you guys are going to have to educate me on that when we get there, because by all
No
means,
problem.
yeah, by all means, I'm for it. Okay. However,
For now.
yeah, or maybe always,
Yeah.
but we at least know I'm open to the discussion, and talk about being open to discussion and taking a moral high ground. A letter came out this week from the chairman of the Bowie County
Republican Party.
Republican Party, and my Wednesday episode, I went off about it, and we got some views, and I got some responses, and then I replied, and Adam replied, and we started a big long conversation
On the
on Facebook,
yeah,
and
I
then
saw it. It was really good.
Dale Holes came out and made a response. This is amazing. Oh yeah, that's right. Adam's rocking the Holes shirt.
Should turn where you can see it on the camera.
I kind of did.
Yeah, there you go. And so, but talk about the moral high ground. That's exactly what I felt like Gary Singleton was trying to take by the way.
Whoever wrote that.
Yeah, and I don't think it was him. And if anything,
But maybe it was, and I'm impressed.
I don't know him well enough to know.
It was well written.
Yes, it was well written. So maybe he has that. I know that I can, if I'm going to speak, I can speak things well. But if I'm going to put it on paper like that, I will speak it to my phone and then check it through Grok or some other, make sure the punctuation is right, and
Yeah.
so all that. So maybe that's what happened. But it just seems like the people, once again, even here in Bowie County on a local level, because his whole message was, don't let some overarching lord dictate who we want. We want the vote of the people, but I'm not going to listen to the people, and this is my dictate.
Yeah, it was. It was disappointing because again, you want to like everybody, and
I don't know if I want to like it.
well,
I try.
it's my default. I try to like
Yeah,
everybody.
okay. I can try.
And I sat with Gary at convention for 2 or 3 hours. He was extremely knowledgeable.
Right.
Anything going on,
Well, he's never been rude to me or anything. I don't want to present him as that.
No, I'm not. But I do think that was very disingenuous.
Right.
That article, like, I mean, you've already dissected it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it's that no, we're not gonna. We're about grassroots. We're about letting people stay. Whatever. It was. I mean, Dale did a great job.
Yeah, I hadn't talked much about Dale's, but Dale went point by point, made the
Yeah.
counterpoint. Actually,
I
that's
have an
not
idea.
correct.
If I don't know who his webmaster is, but if I did know who his webmaster was, that letter would be a great thing to have on his campaign website, wouldn't it?
It's there.
Is it?
If
So
only
if
he
you
had
go
it. So our premium listener may be a webmaster too.
I wouldn't say he's a master
Web Apprentice,
because
Yeah.
when said candidate called that webmaster and said, "Can you do this?" It still took a little while to figure out how to do it, and it got to the point where he said, "You know what? This isn't really simple the way we've done this thing. This is what you get when you use ChatGPT to take shortcuts, to learn things, and you make a product,
WordPress.org.
but you don't know everything about it."
Yeah.
So I'm still
So
that
anyway,
person's still
so
on.
you can go to Dale. What's the name of the website?
Holes for Bowie GOP.com. That's HULS 4, however you want to spell it, whatever.
Yeah.
We
FOR.
spent some money on domains there.
FORE?
Or you can use
FOR,
4 also,
not FOUR. You can use
But
the
you-
number 4.
but not the spelled out 4.
You can use the spelled out 4.
But it has to be
This,
FOR, not
this is
FOUR.
why we bought multiple domains.
FORE.
No, it's not that kind of
I'm
4.
gonna go buy
We're not playing golf here.
it.
You should buy
I'm
it
gonna go,
and link it.
I'm gonna go buy it and then route it just to me going.
My audio was so holes for Bowie GOP.com.
You know what? Here's
And
something
on
I think is very telling. Dale Hulls usually would have 2 L's in Hulls. He's only got 1. And that's impressive for somebody that's worked for the government. He worked for NASA and all this kind of stuff.
They didn't
That's
change it.
efficient. That's efficient.
Yeah.
Well, and the government has a way of changing your name in certain things. My granddad went into the military, Crew Ezra. He came out William Crew Ezra.
Well, here's what's funny about that. I had a customer at one of the banks I worked at, You just derailed me for a second here.
There are so many rabbits in this place.
And his name was something. Well, I don't want to give you his name. But
What was his name?
yeah, I just said I don't want to give it. But anyway, he was the third in all his identification stuff. And I said, so your grandpa and your dad have the same name? He goes, actually, my dad's name is da da da. My grandpa's name, and it was something different. He goes, but when I got to the military, because his name was pretty common, he goes, I was the third one to show up to go to
Oh
Vietnam
no.
with this name. So the other guy was number two, and I was number three, and so they just the third, the three, and
There should
so
be a
that was
book.
his name.
There should be a book titled "The Best of Bureaucrats,"
Yeah, like
filled with those kind of
I'm just gonna
stories.
make. Okay, so let's get into
One of my uncles didn't have a middle name. My dad doesn't have a middle name.
yeah.
And he went in the Navy, and it wasn't a big deal. My uncle was in the Army, and he said if he had it all do over again, he would have just made up a name on the spot for his middle name
Oh,
because there was so much. Every time he'd get transferred or whatever, it was just a pain in the butt.
right,
Anytime they'd send him anything,
That spot is blank.
right. Yeah, and nothing there. So anyway, let's go into this. So we had a presentation, two presentations last night. I just say we because I feel like I'm part of the group. So
you're there.
Proud to
yeah,
have you.
yeah,
We were
thanks.
there. We saw this. We had this. We did
Yeah.
this.
Um.
And then it all blew up.
So first of all, we had
Dr. David Bradford.
Dr. David Bradford talk about the book that he's written, which is key principles that he feels are needed in our elected officials.
Y'all
And-
left our copy at home.
Yeah, mine's in my truck right there. And it was a very good presentation. Now, Dr. Bradford got fired up,
He did.
and I love to see somebody with some enthusiasm, like it. Now,
Yeah, we talk about insane crap, and we just talk about it real matter of factly. But the things that he'd been talking about for years, probably, and he still got worked up.
he was still
Yeah.
worked up. He went over his military career and his career in intelligence and just all that he had done, and then the education career. And so I'll tell you what, I'll bring the book in maybe next week.
I've
and
got
show
the
it.
title.
Yeah, what is it?
He called it "Principles of American Sovereignty: What Makes America Greater Again." Great with ER in parentheses. Greater.
And it was a great presentation. But then after that, his name's not coming to mind. Came up to talk about COS.
Greg Taylor.
Yeah, Greg Taylor came up.
Greg Taylor has 3 G's in just his first name alone. Is that efficient?
No, too many G's, Greg.
That's too many G's.
But anyway, Greg watches the show, and I really appreciated his stance on Convention of the States because especially until I got associated and started digging in with you all. I mean, not that I didn't watch
Mhm.
politics, follow the news. I've always thought, look, I don't like lifelong politicians. I wish there were term limits. Now, the JBS side of that will be that there are. It's just
There are.
it's called an election.
Yeah.
My theory is the office, and once you're into the office, holds so much power and access to money that it makes it easier to hold that seat, which I believe is true.
That part is true.
And
But it
no
also
one-
depends on the people who do the voting being ignorant.
Yeah, that's right. And that's right. You with an informed electorate, you wouldn't need
Right.
a convention of states.
So
However,
the flip side of that, there's a guy named, I can't think of his name, wrote a book, I'm thinking back in the 50s, and he said, we need to have such control over the people in both parties that when they decide to throw the rascal out, we have the next one waiting. And it's so obvious to see with our elected officials right now, all these people that we have voted for state rep, for governor, for president, and they get in there and they do the same thing as the other guys. We know that we have a uniparty in this country. So if you throw out a guy if you throw out the Democrat or Republican, and the Republican does the same thing, and you get mad and throw him out for a Democrat, he does the same thing. There's no difference, and it all depends on an informed electorate.
well, let me make a
you
point
can
on that.
Yeah,
So we were having a discussion about, I won't say the positions, but you all remember this after we met in New Boston a few weeks ago. So we were having a discussion about who's going to fill what positions, and all of these things. Is this person running for something? Is this person staying in the same one? All of that, and talk about having someone in the wings and just
Hmm.
filling in. I just made a few phone calls. Hey, who's next? Who do you have next coming into this? Who the powers that be, and was able to ascertain,
They told you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Plan.
and look, and thankfully I have the friends and not in low places. I do have some of those, but we have friends in the right places that
Yeah.
can tell me this is what's coming, this is what's, or this is what and it wasn't just one person just downloaded. It was call this person, get some information, call this person, get some information, which is why I'm not saying the positions.
And then
And
you aggregate that data.
that's right. And
Yeah.
so that, and I hold that in confidence, and I appreciate that. So that's why I'm not going to say the positions, and I'm not going to say who all I called. But there is someone ready to move. Now, some of these people I called, I really trust, and the people that they mentioned, we would all be okay with.
But, you know,
That being
we
said, that's the way it works in every section of the.
it is. You know, our founding fathers, when they wrote the Constitution, they deliberately left term limits out. They were not in favor of term limits. But some of the same. I mean, I don't know that they foresaw the level of corruption that we've allowed
People
creep
weren't
into
living
our
to be
country.
110.
The but the idea that, like, you get somebody like Ron Paul.
Right.
Okay, so Ron Paul ran for office, didn't win. An area he was in was pretty tight, and so he could just
Right.
drive around. But he loved it. So he kept going around talking to all the different groups, telling them about the Constitution, things like that.
Mhm.
When it came time again, he ran and won. And he won. He stayed in office until he was done, until he was ready to retire.
Right.
And all he didn't go out around promising them things. They called him Dr. No. One, he's a doctor. And two, they would say, hey, why don't we do this really cool law? And he would go, no, it's not in the Constitution. And
Well,
that was his criteria. Now he did bring home bacon for his district, like most of them do.
right.
That was his criteria. Is it in the Constitution? No. And so he obviously did a great job because they kept reelecting him.
Well, and that's the
And
thing
so if you
too.
get somebody that does a good job, leave them there. If they become corrupt, vote them out.
Yeah.
But it all requires an educated electorate. So if the electorate chooses to ignore what's going on, politics, that's dirty. If they choose to do that, and that's one of the cool things about Church on the Rock is that before a major election, Pastor John will say, here's what the Bible says. Here's what the platforms of these two parties say. You choose.
Yeah, he isn't pushing you one way or the other. He's just
I've
giving you.
seen people online rap about they had a bunch of stuff out there for the candidates out in the lobby. Yeah, both sides.
Right.
We have nonpartisan voter guides.
And our thing on the 17 amendments.
Mhm.
It's not a partisan.
No, it's what's coming up, and we're inviting people that we know that pay attention to that kind of stuff. I say we, it's mostly Richie
Richie,
and
yeah.
what's the group in the church? Christians Engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She leads that group at Church on the Rock. Richie Grant, in case y'all don't know, she's the one that's leading that. But yeah, we have to pay attention.
And
And that's been the thing of the John Birch Society all along. And I get these backwards, but it's something like the truth is our only strategy and education is our only weapon.
Right.
And you can swap those four words around.
Right.
Education is our only strategy, truth is our only weapon. It all works out. But one of them is actually the right phrase.
Right.
But that's what we do in the John Birch Society. We're a nonpartisan organization. We've never endorsed a candidate or party and never will. I can, and
As a person.
as a person.
Yeah.
And if I wanted to add some weight to it, I would say I'm with the Bowie County Patriots.
Right.
But I don't say I'm a field coordinator for the John Birch Society and I endorse so and so.
Right.
I don't do that. But that's been our thing forever.
Mhm.
People have to pay attention. If they don't, we get where we are right now, where you've got people like Nancy Pelosi, who's been in office forever. Was there voter fraud involved in all that? I bet there
Yeah,
was.
100%.
that's another topic.
We know we have. There's so much evidence of voter fraud.
What?
I
The
know.
media will tell you that there's not.
I know.
Well,
And actually, they'll arrest you for saying
I
there's
want to
voter fraud.
address that, the media. We're talking about an informed electorate. If we're all busy watching CNN or Fox News even, or anything
You're
mainstream,
not.
are you really sure you're
Mm-mm.
getting the truth? Or
No.
are you being influenced by somebody's dollars?
I mean, I hate to throw this out there, sound real crazy. There are people that still believe we went to the moon.
I want to throw this in there. Speaking of
Flat Earth.
funding, Were we going there?
No,
Um,
we weren't.
not today. Let's do that next week. But speaking of people that will fund a freer media where you as the host can speak of what you
Right,
want and people can hear the truth,
right.
you got a pretty good outfit here that's allowing you a space to do this in.
Well, I have people that are willing to help and that believe in it. From the sponsors here, I've got someone. Let me just thank that person, and I'm not going to say their name. That they funded advertising for this podcast when it first started, just so that people knew, because they believe in the message, and then you guys have been of great help. I mean, half this equipment's yours that we're using here,
I'm just having fun.
and so, but that's what we're striving for is truth. And this is one thing, just to kind of get off where we are, but this is one thing that bothers me about our current culture. People will say, and usually it's women, my truth. This is my truth. No, sir.
You can have your own opinion, but can't have your own
There's
facts.
only one truth, and his name is Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Now, do I fail to walk in the way he would? Every single day I sin. Am I saying that with pride? No. But I'm saying that to demonstrate that I'm not perfect. I don't think I'm perfect, but he is the truth. He
There
is the way.
is truth, and in most cases you can find it.
Right.
So I took part in a debate down in Corpus Christi 2 months ago, I think. Not really a debate. But the idea was the guy said this convention of states issue is divisive, divides us in our
Right.
party. Never criticize somebody if they can't pronounce a word right. That just means they read it and not talked about it. Not even me. This divides us, and I want to hear both sides of it. So the guy that was just one of the people in the audience last night was the person who came and spoke
Right.
in Corpus Christi, and he had his list where we get 20 minutes each, and if you want to take 15 minutes, have 5 minutes for questions, you can. He had 17 minutes and didn't want to take questions, so he just started saying stuff. They're going to tell you this. They're going to tell you this, and so two of us spoke after that. One each of us got 10 minutes.
Right.
And the first guy talked about logic and reason and things like that. And I got up and I didn't address everything he said that afternoon, but I talked about the important things, from my point of view, or our point of view. But it does divide us. And so one of the reasons now Greg has been coming to our meetings for several months.
Yeah.
And I I say, we joke about my job with the Bowie County Patriots. I'm the benevolent dictator. Well,
Right.
that was last night was an example of benevolence. I don't
Yeah.
agree with, he works for Convention of States. John Birch Society is against Convention of States. He works for them.
He
And
makes like 200,000 a year doing all that, right?
yeah,
I think it's a volunteer
it's a
position.
volunteer position. But I wanted to give him an opportunity to hone his skills and because he hasn't been doing this very long.
Right.
And to get up and do his thing. And so I've been trying to uh, build bridges with those people on the other side because what I think is what's going on is that people at the lower level are on the same side. They're
Right.
like me and you, or they're like me and Adam because you think COS is a good idea so far. So they're good people.
Right.
The further up the chain you get, the less I think
I
that's
think
the case.
I think that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
And I think that's right for a lot of organizations,
Sure.
including our Congress.
Oh, heck yeah.
And I mean, so I think that's something that comes with power or perceived power.
Well, and so here's the thing. Can you just forthrightly state your opinion? So I was asked to come. Someone said, will you come to Weatherford, Texas? This group that invited me. Actually, I went through an intermediary. Would you come to Weatherford and talk about why John Birch Society is against Convention of States? I said, absolutely. And they said, would you be willing to have a debate? And I said, absolutely.
Right.
And they could not find anybody specifically with the organization
Right.
that would come.
Right.
They got Rick Green to come. He runs Patriot Academy. They got him to come. And what happened was, and this is relevant to last night.
Yeah.
What he did was he got up and he was supposed to have 20 minutes, and so was I. Or maybe he was supposed to have 25, and I'm going to have 20. The idea was he's going to give a history of COS, why he was supported, and I'd get up and say why I'm against it. And so he got up instead and did 30 minutes on Patriot Academy, including a video with very stirring music.
Right.
That was
Get everybody excited.
yeah, well, all warm and fuzzy, God, guns, and country, because he's got a shooting range at Patriot Academy. He's got a
Yeah.
replica of Freedom Hall at
They've now
Patriot
got their
Academy.
own city, I believe.
Huh?
They've now got their own city,
It's a little bitty compound, but it includes a nice firing range.
but they got an ordinance done or something where
Oh,
they
did
now
they?
have a mayor.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Um, so it's stirring music. It's God, guns, and country. It's our founding fathers.
Right.
All
It's an
that stuff.
emotional play.
Oh, it was very emotional. It was, and then he did like 5 or 6 minutes on Convention of States.
So of course he
So
sounds
he
great.
tied Convention of States to all that warm, fuzzy God, guns, country
Yeah.
thing, right? So I got up and I said, I mean, I complimented him because he had said, I used to want to be a preacher, but I don't think I can do it. I said, dude, you're really good. You should be a preacher. And
Right.
I said, y'all honored a lot of people here tonight, elected officials, people running for office, but I think you left out the most important one. And I waited till Al looked at me and I said, it's whoever made those pastries. Because whoever made the pastries, they were off the
You
chain.
win the crowd.
They
back.
were amazing. Yeah. And so they're all, yeah, that's right. So I started off with a standing ovation.
Right.
Not for me, but I did kind of break all that warm fuzzy off. And then I did my presentation. I might have gone a minute over. I don't remember.
Right.
And then 6 of
Shameful.
us were up there. Each had a microphone.
Right.
And we're going to answer. It's going to be Q&A time. I think there was 15, 20 minutes, 10
Right.
minutes at least. And a lady in the audience asked a question that was just totally teed up for him. And so she asked him the question, and he spent 10 or 15 seconds answering it, and then just took off. No, Steve, if you answer this, I would like to see. And I have a list of questions actually, and they weren't all. I could see him. I could see his phone,
Right.
and they weren't all about what I'd said, but he
Yeah.
had a list of questions, and I said, I'm like, okay, let me see it, or I'll answer that. He just kept on going, and I said, well, show me the phone. I'll be glad to answer the questions. And he kept on going. I said,
Yeah.
can I see that a second? I'll start to answer the questions.
Yeah.
And he talked the entire time. I just found out that's called
Chubbing.
chubbing, CHUBBING.
Yeah. He said that
Um,
earlier, and I just didn't know what he was
right? I
talking
didn't know
about.
what it was.
I'm
I
like,
don't
do
think I've
what?
ever heard it.
Yeah. I
It's
do.
a word used in the Texas legislature when you want to run the clock out. You just get up
Ah,
there and run
that's
your
where I
mouth.
heard it. Okay.
So you
I've
Yeah.
run the
always
clock
just,
out.
I've always just thought of it as a
So
filibuster.
that's what he did. If I had known that he was going to do it the entire time, I probably would have tried to be funny, tried to roast him or whatever. But they literally, the guy that was in charge, the MC, came up and said, dude, I'm sorry, we're out of time. I said, well, that's how it works. I gave him the microphone. He literally had to pull the microphone out of Rick Green's hand, and he's pulling the microphone as he pulls it away.
You know what's funny?
So definitely chubbing. Last
The
night,
same thing
it
happened
was
last
time.
night.
It was time. So I'm a little disappointed. So
Uh,
the guy was there. I've known him for a year. I met him at convention. I've known about him for
uh,
2 or 3 months before that. He's supposedly a really great debater. Um, Last night, somebody asked a question, and he said he's out in the audience, and he said, "Well, actually," and he goes on for what 3 or 4 minutes.
this was after I left.
5 or
Yeah,
7.
it's towards the end.
I had a valid question that was not necessarily against what they were presenting. And I wanted to ask the question, but another guy asked a question, and this one proceeded to answer.
Yeah, and it wasn't really an answer to anything.
They just filibuster.
Yeah, he talked for several minutes and ran out the clock.
And so they made the point that, outside of this Convention of States agenda, we are very good, and this is what the guy was saying. We are very good at lobbying the state legislatures.
Yeah,
We're
they did
very
make that
good at
point.
working toward this thing, and we work toward other priorities too. No, Convention of States works toward an agenda. You, as a voter and an activist for the Republican Party, you also are connected to COS. You lobby and you do a good job there.
Now, I did appreciate Joe's question.
Yeah.
Just to start putting, but then that's when I left because the Cowboys were
So
playing.
here's the thing. We watched the video. It's what, 17 minutes
17
long,
minutes
I think.
long, yeah.
So we watched the video, and there's some things that simply aren't true. It says that we'll call a convention, and we're only going to talk about these 3 things.
Right.
So I've done this presentation several times now, and I'll have Article 5 of the Constitution, which describes how we amend the Constitution either through Congress or through the Convention of States. And that's not really a right word. It's an Article 5 convention. Convention
Right.
of States is they rebranded it.
Imaginary.
They literally. Well, I mean, it was used back in that era, but rarely. That they said, hey, let's start calling this Convention of States. They did that 15, 20 years ago. So one of the things they said was it can only it's limited when they call this convention, it's limited to these three topics.
Because they said it was whatever
Yeah.
the resolution was that the state
Yes.
legislature
So it's
upheld, right?
limited to these topics, and it says it doesn't matter how many delegates get sent. Each state gets one vote.
That's what I've always understood it.
Right.
And
So neither of those things
okay.
are in the Constitution. Who's in charge
The
of?
states are in charge of it.
See, that you think so, but what does it say? Who calls the convention?
Hold on,
Oh,
hold on.
Congress, the U.S.
Congress.
Congress.
Yeah, the
So
states
they're going to
petition.
allot however many they want
Yes,
to.
the necessary and proper cause of the United States Constitution says if Congress says we're doing this, they get to set up how it's done.
Yeah, so Congress
to-
could
Yes.
sway that.
Right.
Ah, I got you.
So,
Exactly.
and it says, upon the application from 2/3 of the states, Congress shall call a convention for the proposing of amendments. Not we're going to propose amendments and have the convention. So if you have the states proposing and ratifying, you don't need the convention. You just need to
Right.
propose it. We have 2/3, actually 3/4 of the states
Right, 'cause
agree
you
on
don't
the
need the
language, and
convention
now it's an amendment. Yeah,
because
so you
the
don't need a
convention.
convention. So
Okay.
it's
All right, so
actually a
I'm
convention for proposing amendments. And who calls it? Congress calls it.
right.
So are the states in charge of it? No, they're not.
Right.
And Congress won't give us a balanced budget now. Congress won't vote on term limits now.
So why
Congress,
would they call it?
right?
Why would they call it?
So where does it? So Congress isn't obeying the Constitution now. My
Right.
very first thought, the very first time I heard a convention of states was, why don't we pass a law to make it against the law to break the law?
Well, it's like gun rights, right?
It's
Why don't we make it
snark.
illegal to murder
Yeah.
somebody?
Well, but here's that's what they're trying to do, though. So if you have, there's nothing in there that says if Congress doesn't do it, you can shoot them, or if
Right.
Congress doesn't do it, you can tar and feather them and replace them.
Right.
It doesn't say that. Congress doesn't have to do it. And so is Congress on our side? No.
Yeah, and
So
not
if
generally.
Congress sets up a mechanism for this, here's a question: is it going to be in San Francisco or is it going to be in San Antonio?
Or
Okay,
yeah.
it's going to be in San Francisco. Lawsuit. It's going to be in San Antonio. Lawsuit. All right, we're going to have every state gets to send 10 delegates. Well, no, my state has 3 times as many or whatever. Wyoming has. They just recently got Montana
Okay.
just recently got their second congressman. So lawsuit. So lawsuits galore on this thing.
So that's the
How does-
holes
how does-
that you can shoot into
So
this
there's
convention.
more. Congress has looked into this to try to figure out. Yeah, do we have to leave for the time for the next show?
We're at 57 minutes.
Well, I know we did this for an hour and a half last time.
Yeah.
I can talk faster. So
No.
Congress, Congress has looked into this. There's a report that says there's nothing in the Constitution that allows them to choose ahead of time what the amendments are.
Right.
And so if all of them say the exact same thing, well, it's not valid because you can do that. Maybe you could call that. And actually they were counting for a while. There was somebody wanted to put together all the applications for a constitutional convention,
Right.
going back to the Civil War. And so if Congress says, no, you have to let people propose amendments, and COS is literally saying these are the only 3 topics we can
That-
discuss.
Well,
And there's nothing in there that says that. And
well, we
Congress can
had
do
this
what they want to.
conversation about the CEC, County Executive Committee, and other groups. If you're going by parliamentary procedure, once you open the floor for new business, anybody that wants to bring a resolution, okay. See, I just needed to talk this through.
When the convention doors
Once
are
they open,
people show up, they organize a convention, and the business starts.
right?
I
you
can
stand up and say,
propose
"I
that Barney,
move."
whoever
Well,
is
so-
president.
Yeah.
The Texas GOP has you can go from Robert's Rules of Order, and you can take that and modify it for your organization.
Mhm.
You have to vote on it and everything else. And that's what the Texas GOP has done. So they don't follow Robert's Rules of Order precisely. They follow it mostly with their little add-ons.
Right.
So if they're doing it according to agreed on procedure, great. If they're not, then I don't know if it's invalid or what.
Right. But
But going back to this,
yeah, my point was it's the same thing, right? New business, you can bring in whatever you want to bring in.
Yes. And there are organizations that have been trying to rewrite our Constitution for a long time. Back in the 70s, they said, 1976, 200 years, that would be a great time to redo our Constitution.
Right.
Or 1987, 2 years after our Constitution was adopted. That'd be a great time to come in with a new one. And the people that want to come in with a new Constitution, some of them sound good. There's one called the Conservative Constitution.
Right.
And I think Joe said it last night, Joe Cruz. One of the phrases in there, they take the Second Amendment, they just add a few words to it. So your right to bear arms shall not be infringed. while in the service of the militia.
Right. Which
And
that's not what it
that's
says.
not what it says, but that's what they want it to say. And the conservative Constitution says that. What else does it say? I haven't
Yeah.
looked. So there's been people that have been trying to come in and replace our Constitution for a long
Because
time.
once again, they
And so
want to erode our rights.
they do. And so we know there's no way that they came up with the Patriot Act in the short amount of time between 9/11 and when they adopted it.
Oh, I've
They
never
had the
thought about
thing
that.
they had the thing written ahead of time and
Looking for a
for just
reason
such a
to
time as
implement.
this, yeah. So it's already done. We know it. We've seen the constitutions they want to adopt.
Right.
So last night, the gentleman that ran out the clock, that's disingenuous.
Yeah.
That stifles debate. Rick Green did that in Weatherford, Texas.
So
It
he's just it's the
stifles
same
conversation.
it's the
It
same
is, and I'm
technique.
disappointed in the guy last night that did it because I thought that I want his kind of thing. But
Yeah.
when he was in Corpus Christi, one of the things he said was, "We've had 45 convention of states with no problem," and I didn't address that one down there. But no, we haven't. We've had the different states have had constitutional conventions for their state.
Right.
Like Louisiana has had at least one, maybe two in the last 30 or 40
And
years.
they present that.
It's for their state.
Now,
It's their state
were those
constitution.
mocks, or were they actual to amend their state
Their own state
constitution?
constitution, which is fine. They can do that.
We do
Um,
that like every 2 years in Texas automatically.
Well, we can keep doing amendments to it, but they were talking about a constitutional convention
Well,
to
that's what I meant.
to
We
redo it. Yeah. So, and that's another thing they've said, we've had 2 mock conventions and they went really well. There was no runaway convention.
Ever heard of
And
a script?
yeah, my response to that the very first time I heard it was, I wrote a screenplay where Michelle Pfeiffer falls in love with me. It's a it's a scripted event.
Right.
I mean, they had Illinois, they had conservative representatives from Illinois. Is Illinois going to send conservative
No,
representatives?
no.
Okay. And something else that's come up. This is another one just off the top of my head. Some guy came up to me and said, "How on earth at this point in time could John Birch Society be against a convention of states?" And I said, "That's kind of complicated. I'd love to sit down and talk to you." He goes, "Yeah, that's what I thought." Okay. I said, "All right, let's sum it up."
Oh, you've got an answer? I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, well, and
I don't want to
being-
debate.
this was at a conservative event with the politician that I mentioned that I
Yeah.
like hanging out with him, but I don't trust him because he held up a constitution and said, "Not a constitutional convention, but a convention of states,"
Right.
pointing at it like it was there and it wasn't. That's why I don't trust the guy.
Ah.
And this guy accosted me, and I said, "All right, how about this? You don't think they're going to send me and you to the convention, do you?"
No.
And that's a question last night as well. So if Congress, who doesn't like us, has to or calls a convention of states, a constitutional convention is what it really is. I shouldn't use their phrase. If Congress convenes a constitutional convention, they get to decide how delegates are chosen.
Right.
Now, are they going to say, find every patriot group you can and get their opinion?
No.
Or are they going to say, ask Abbott, ask Dustin Burrows, ask Dave Phelan? So
Right.
here's the question.
Trey Gowdy.
Yeah.
Trey Gowdy. So here's the question. Who's Governor Abbott going to send? Is he going to send me and you and Adam? Is he
No.
going to send who's he going to send? Is it going to be people who are staunch constitutionalists, or is he going to send people who like to do things their way?
Right. No, that
And
makes
here's the thing
sense.
with the Constitutional Convention: when they get there, anything they want to do, they can do, and they have that right.
Once again,
And
'cause you
here's
can
how we
open
know
business and
this.
do that.
Here's how we know this. In 1776, the Declaration of Independence said, "When in the course of human events, blah blah blah, it is the right of these people to alter or abolish that form of government as they
Throw
see
off
fit."
the chains, I think they
Yes.
said.
So in 1776, so in 1787, when they convened to amend the Articles of Confederation, they looked around the room. They said, "We have the best people." And we just
Let's
discussed
just
this
redo
11
it.
years ago, that we have the right to alter or abolish. And so they were sent to alter, but instead they abolished. They did a
So
brand new constitution.
let me ask
And
you
then
this.
just weeks after that constitution was ratified, a lot of other groups are going, "Hey, let's do it again. I've got some good ideas." And Madison, I think it's Madison, Madison, I think, he said, "I shudder to think what would happen if we open up this document again," weeks after it's ratified. Now, that's not 1787. That's when they wrote it
Right.
and signed it, but it was ratified by all the states. It took a year or so. And right after it was ratified, he goes, "So let's do it again." And he said, "I shudder to think what would happen if we do this again."
So I'm just putting this all together. Make sure that I'm catching what you're throwing here. Based on history, this would open us up for a complete rewrite of government as the way we know it.
A
If
complete rewrite of our country's, yes.
You would have a
Okay.
whole new government.
and that's not what we want.
I've got right here 20 irrefutable facts about an Article 5 convention for proposing amendments. There's no constitutional authority for a limited convention. There's no
Right.
guidance on how delegates will be selected. There's no guidance on who would qualify as a delegate. Would George Soros qualify?
Oh,
Could it be foreign people? Could it be people who
if
are
they can be
American
judges. Why
citizens?
can't they live
Right.
here?
There's no guidance on how many delegates each state could send. There's no provision for stopping a runaway convention, no provision for how rules will be established, no provision for how rules will be enforced, no role provided for the people to play in the process. There's no power provided for the people to stop a convention once it starts. There's no description of the ratification convention Congress could choose to call. There are no rules governing the ratification convention Congress could choose to call. There's no means provided for the people to challenge Congress. So Congress has already said, I mean, Congress doesn't like us. If they
Right.
call the thing, are they going to limit it to the three? Are they going to say, well, you can't do that. Those aren't valid. We're not going to do this because they don't want to do it unless they can control it and turn it out to destroy our country, which we've already established. That's what
Can you hear me when I say like
our
this?
fat cats do. Do what?
Well, try it again.
Oh no, I was just making sure. Does this work?
What? You can move a mic? We have that the technology now?
Well, we've been pretty directional on this for the first part of the show.
Oh, okay.
First hour.
No,
Anyway,
I'm
I
not
can
trying
go
to
on.
derail. Yeah, well, so that's good to know for someone like me because a lot of times, just like I always say, everybody's worried about getting a little Johnny to band camp, getting little Susie to dance, and paying the mortgage and paying all. And so when you hear something, go ahead.
There's a lot to this,
Right.
and people don't understand it.
Yeah, and so when you hear someone say, "Hey, we can do a convention of the states and clean all this up," and you're like, "Well, I already think the government's corrupt and all this," but then it turns out this could lead to more corruption. It could really change
Well, it could be horrible.
It could
But then
really.
there's multiple aspects to what they want to do. Do we need a balanced budget amendment? That'd be awesome if we did that, right?
Well, we have a way to
Not
get
really.
amendments already, right?
Not really, because if you want to spend more money, what do? You increase revenue.
However, the taxes are collected, yeah. So, and another
Mm.
thing is every one of these balanced budget amendments says Congress shall balance the budget unless there's an emergency. We have had a state of emergency in this country for various reasons perpetually since I think the 50s and the 60s. So it's been they declare emergency to overspend. So term limits, we have term limits. It's called elections. And if we are right now electing crappy people, having term limits isn't going to mean we're going to have less crappy people. It just means we're going to have a bigger turnover of the crappy people.
And
Right.
when we start turning them over more frequently and shuffling that batch, eventually we're going to land with a good batch that says, "Hey, we can fix this."
Right.
And then they'll pass the amendment, the balanced budget amendment. I'm telling you, that's not the fix all. I want to make one point, and I need to
Can I do
go.
one more? I'll be quick with it because the last one is eliminating government.
Once you make your point, we'll wrap this up because I know you got to get out of here too. So go, Steve. Then we'll...
Okay, so how dare you? Eliminating government overreach.
Like my name on the sign. Go.
Yeah, government overreach.
Communists.
We can do that right now,
Not benevolent.
and it's because in the Constitution it says that any law passed by Congress that does not comply with the Constitution itself is null and void.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we saw that back towards the end of the Biden regime when they said Article 8, Title 8, Title 9,
Title 9.
Yeah.
Title 9. If you're taking our money, you got to comply with it. Title 9 says you got to let boys and girls locker rooms.
they're like, "Nope."
And Governor Abbott, bless his heart, said, "You know what? We're not doing that." And he could just say that, but here's the constitutional basis for it. The Department of Education is not in the Constitution; it's an unconstitutional
Right.
body, and so he could just. I mean, supposedly Texas is a we give more or we get more from the government than we give to the government, and
Right.
that's crap. That's what they're saying is, we're paying all those soldiers in Fort Hood for you.
Right.
No, they work for the federal government. If you take things like that out, federal employees, Texas gives a whole lot more money than the federal government would
Yes.
get. And so I've tried to find out what's the cost of compliance with the Department of Education versus what they send to us every year.
Right.
And it's probably pretty close to revenue neutral. Just drop it.
Yeah.
Of course, they've dropped it anyway. But that's the whole thing. If they say you have to we're going to start an organization, the federal government, and you have to comply with this. Um, you don't, because if that organization is not constitutional, you can't do
Right.
that. Which is what the Department of Education was unconstitutional.
Yeah.
But they started sending money to the states, and so basically, if you with the shekels come the shackles.
Right.
There's
All right,
strings
Adam.
attached.
What you got?
All right. So when those guys joined together in that room in 1787, they could have so easily said, all right, these Articles of Confederation, they don't work. We're going to come up with a whole new document.
Yep.
And it could have been so simple as we're all going to get along and agree on how we spend our money.
Right.
That doesn't do the job, though, does it?
No.
So they spend the time, they come up with the United States Constitution as it was that day or that week or month, however how long it
Took them a while.
took 3-4 months or something, wasn't it?
Middle of summer.
They
Yeah.
came up with this document, and then as these guys pointed out last night, and I think in that video too, they said somebody stepped up at the last minute and said, "Hey, this isn't right. This doesn't give people the power to amend the
Right.
Constitution." Right?
Article 5.
So what did they do? They added a short phrase, and it says, "or upon or on the application of the legislatures of 2/3 of the several states." That's the whole foundation for the Convention of States organization.
Right.
If we had gone with one sentence to govern our country, we'd be in anarchy already
Right.
before it was done.
Well, the
So-
other
so
one was
my
a
point
basic
is-
document, didn't have enough.
Right, no doubt.
Didn't have enough guidelines in it. That's why we need to
Right.
fix it.
And so my point is, they're taking this one little line and adding so much to it as if it's just going to work.
Right.
And there's nothing here that says this is how the process works. This is how the delegates. It's just, it's somebody's dream.
And my concern with this is that there are people who want to make a difference, and they get pulled into the Convention of States movement, and that's all they focus on.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, let me
the guy
wrap-
that was there last night, he spent 50 days, I believe is what he came out with,
At the
at
the state.
the state last
Yeah.
session. And he didn't just talk about Convention of States.
right.
He talked about other topics. So he has gone in and he's been an effective. He's not a lobbyist. He's just retired. He did this
Yeah,
on
he's
his own
been
dime.
good at carrying his point on other issues.
Yeah.
As well. All right, let me wrap it up with this. Discussions like this are why it's good to be involved, or why it's good to come to Bowie County Patriots on Thursday nights. And
Hear more than
Hey, real
one
quick.
side.
go ahead.
Convention of States and Texit were the two things that brought me into Bowie County Patriots.
Oh, are they?
I was yelling Texit. I was yelling COS. We have to fix this problem.
But then as you with
And I
anything,
came in, and my first meeting, first real meeting, the topic was Article 6, nullification.
right?
Hey, we can take back our government without a convention of states.
Yeah. Well, and
more
that's,
safely.
yeah, and that's key, right? We have control. We have to be educated enough to understand the control we have, and then we have to understand that it's already written down. We just have to act on what
Right.
we have. We have to come back from being post-constitutional to the Constitution and elect the right people.
Elect the right people.
So
And so that an important thing you brought up, nullification. It's people. Well, how are we going to fix it then? Nullification.
right,
And that's a topic for another show, I guess.
yeah, that's all right. Okay, all right, everybody. Thanks for go ahead.
What are your sponsors' names again?
Oh, Mortgage Financial here in Texarkana, Elmwood Custom Goods, and ChurchOnTheRock.org.
Church on the Rock. We'll love the hell out of you.
Thanks, everybody. I hope God blesses each and every one of you.